When a single neuron fires, it is but an isolated chemical blip. When many fire together, they form a thought. What is the spark that ignites our thoughts? What is the fabric that sews our mental process as we form our perspectives of the world? Join us as we explore this magical process of manifestation and self-transformation. This is Alchemy of Thought. Welcome back. So we are about to get into some real juicy conversation. I have Kathiana Dulcine here with me, sexual health enthusiast. So I just want to jump right on in here. What exactly is a sexual health enthusiast, and what is your personal mission for embarking on this journey?
Okay, so we're just going to get down to the nitty gritty.
Okay.
A sexual health enthusiast is somebody who's enthusiastic about sex, someone who isn't so timid and is kind of like an open mind when it comes to sexual preferences, sexual topics, all around, just not really giving, too much of a about what other people think about your thoughts of sex. But my personal mission is to kind of open up that door for women, particularly Black women, because there are so many things that we already feel like we can't speak about. When it comes to sex, it is something that is natural, especially people who even have 3, 4, 5 kids. They're like, oh my God, no. And I'm like, we know you have sex. So let's cut that. And being able to have that confident conversation just allows you to be even just more open in how you communicate with other people because you're comfortable with yourself.
Yes.
So it's not so much of a sex thing, so much like sexual orientation. It's more of like, I'm able to talk about things that make me happy and what I think freely.
Yeah, and so it builds your confidence. Once you become confident with yourself, you can talk about sex confidently because you are unapologetically yourself.
And on top of that, like, one major thing, people always knew me as like the blunt friend.
Oh, so this is your personality.
Yes, but when it came to sex, I was always just like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, next topic. And I realized that's something I'm uncomfortable with, and I was just like, why?
We all have sex. Absolutely. At least the majority of us.
We know.
So how much has your own knowledge of sexual health increased since you started this becoming an advocate? What have you gained from this experience?
Honestly, it made me super grateful, the fact that people were willing to open up to me about even their own sexual adventures, and I was just like, oh, thank God it's not only me who don't like that or who likes that. But I've never been one to judge because the same things, and I think I said this like on an Instagram video where I was just like, the things that I said I would never do, I was doing it like on a handstand, and I was just like, you know what? Why box ourselves in? So it made me become more aware, more open, and it actually helped me explore more, where I'm just like, that's something I wouldn't do, but let me just explore it. And sometimes I'm just like,
okay. So you tried it. You was like, okay, so it opened you up sexually.
Yes.
And for preferences, it broadened your horizons a little bit, Okay, that's good. So
and I'm just like, God, I see the sunset. It's beautiful over here.
And it doesn't, it really helped that you're already not a judgmental person. You're a blunt person. So you are naturally open-minded. So you were able to embrace these different aspects. And if, you try it, if it applies, if you don't like it, you just move on pretty much.
But I just love the trust that it's been able to give me with other people, and it's made me more aware of like, wow, there's different lifestyle, and it's not to agree with it, but it's to respect other people and their lifestyle.
Absolutely. So we're gonna get into next the holistic part about this, because it's definitely can touch especially with us women. So we're gonna get into that when we come back. Make sure you guys stay tuned. All right, we are back. We're about to get into the holistic living part of our conversation. So I really want to talk about the healthiest foods that are for the vagina and just the overall female anatomy. Like, what are just some good foods that's for, our skin, just everything about, that we can use.
Let me think of my top choices.
Okay.
No, but when it comes to your vagina, the most healthiest things that you can eat for that is leafy greens. So we're talking about spinach, we're talking about broccoli, black folks in the collard greens, they're actually good for your vagina. Not when you bake it with the turkey in the bar. No, not even just erasing.
Collard greens.
No.
Oh, girl.
So, greens. Your vagina loves greens, papaya, the enzymes that are in it. A lot of people have misconception like just eat a bowl of pineapples and you'll be fine.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
We're going to scratch that. It helps, but we're going to scratch. Leafy greens will be your vagina's best friend.
Okay, so just leafy greens. So what about like to help with like lubrication, smell, taste, all that things? I know that like, different foods serve for different purposes. We got walnuts for the brains and carrots for the eyes. Like what are these things that can contribute to those areas of the vagina?
As simple as this sounds, and I know this is going to be super cliche, water.
I knew that.
And you know what? Because I specialize in confident conversations, I literally did a challenge with myself where I just stopped drinking as much water as I was. Child.
Wait, you stopped? You purposely stopped?
I purposely stopped. Like my whole diet changed. Like I would have smoothies with my greens, and I would drink 96 ounces of water. When I tell you the major thing that I experienced, my vagina dried out like a new sponge.
What? This is fascinating because you so you this is an experiment.
It wasn't, and when I say dry, I don't mean dry in the sense of when I'm having sex. I was I still got that wop. But no, it wasn't that. It was literally like coming out of the shower or like it just felt so dry. And I was like, this isn't it.
So definitely water. So water, and I'm sure you can get it from other fruits and vegetables as well.
So aloe vera gel.
Okay.
So
you put it on there, or you? No. Oh, okay. Don't mind.
No, it's not face mask.
Okay.
No, so you would cut up some aloe or get like organic aloe juice. Okay. So when I say organic aloe juice, I don't mean the one that you go to Walmart. That's filled with sugar. Okay. The reason why it's not good for your vagina, yeast feeds off of sugar. Okay. So if you have a yeast infection that's starting, the more sugar you eat, the more it's going to feed off and grow instead of actually helping to kind of slow it down. So organic or just aloe vera, the leaf, cut it up, put it in your smoothie, put it with any type of fruit, you will not taste it at all.
Okay, so we got leafy greens, we have water, tons and tons and tons of water. If you want to experiment to have a dry vagina, don't drink water.
Don't do it, y'all. I did it for you. I took one for the team. You don't have to do it.
But that's so beautiful to know. Like, it's so crazy how you can manipulate your body that way. Just the same way if you working out, doing exercise, how you manipulate your muscles. Same thing with your organs and everything else that functions, make your body function. So, next question. Kegels. Am I saying that right? I always get confused. Kegels, right? Okay. Kegels. How often should Kegels be done to maintain the strength of the vagina? Now, I know something that we can do just whenever.
I'm doing it right now. No, I'm kidding.
So Kegels. So first, explain what a Kegel is.
So a Kegel is basically like that muscle that you have inside of like your pelvis where your vagina is. So like when you're holding your urine to not go pee, that's your Kegel walls that you're kind of just extracting. So what you would do is you would just sit here. It's recommended that you do it 3 times a day. It's 10 to 15 Kegels. So you would just squeeze that muscle and hold for like 3 to 5 seconds and then stop, and that's 1. So you would do about 10 to 15 of those 3 times a day.
Okay. And then the balls, the insertions. Now break it down. There are levels to this, right? You got the about jumbo size, and you got the medium, and then you got the tiny. Now when you get to the tiny, you a motherfucker bro. Okay? I'm just saying. So, like, how should you incorporate that into your Kegel exercises?
Okay. Let's kind of like dissect it a little bit. Okay. So when it comes to the Kegel balls, so they're also called Yoni eggs. So people think it's more so of the size of the egg. So every different size is actually a weight.
Oh, it's a weight.
It's a weight.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
It's
because
about
you're exercising your muscle. That makes sense. Okay.
So it's about how much you can actually keep it inserted inside with that weight. So as you like advance, you change Kegels. Now, when you are buying them, just make sure it's non-porous. Because a lot of people sell them, but just make sure they're non-porous because it can hold a lot of bacteria.
Okay.
And make sure that string is not cotton because it can hold a lot of bacteria. Try to look for like a Yoni egg that has like a slit where you can take it out. But they have like this type of like plastic that you can just use and then just dispose just to keep it as clean as possible. Because the last thing you want to do is try to flex those muscles and you infected.
Yeah, that's no bueno. No bueno at all. Okay, great. So, can you clear up one of the many myths about the female vagina, the vagina, about a woman being too loose down there? Like if she, let's say for example, people say she ain't got no walls, or she hasn't having too much sex, or she's not as tight. Can you explain the misconceptions around that?
Okay.
Like, is that true?
Okay.
Basically?
A woman can be too loose.
Okay.
But it is not solely based off of having too many sex partners. It's sex partners, what you're doing, also your lifestyle. So if you're someone who's just eating fast food, smoking cigarettes, not drinking water, not even getting pap smears, and then you're having partners who are not only putting their dick in you, but also like fisting you constantly. You're not doing Kegels, you're not doing anything. Yeah, you're gonna get loose.
And how does that?
Yeah.
And what about birthing? I know it's definitely recommended for women who just had birth. So the same thing applies for that as well.
Yeah. So when a woman gives birth, when she like breastfeeds, all that, your uterus is contracting, so your body's literally working to rehabilitate itself. And plus, if you're going back to the same partner and living the same lifestyle, it is not the same thing. I'm talking about like no walls. You literally have to be on, like, you are just not taking care of yourself entirely as a whole, because it takes a lot for you to just completely just have no walls.
Yeah, I was told that was a complete myth. Like a woman cannot not have walls.
You have walls, but
I can understand
the feeling.
Yes, of
different.
course, and that's of course if you don't practice your Kegels, or it's a muscle like anything else in your body. You want it to be tight. You want it to grip around that thing, and you know what I mean?
And sometimes it's like, especially like, okay, you're not drinking water. Let's say you're a woman who's 40, going through menopause, all that. Now you're already unhealthy. The menopause is going to cause vaginal dryness anyway. So now you are just creating like this bad scenario where a guy is putting his dick in you and it feels like it's going through like a carpet.
And how do you reverse that as far as in regards to menopause? Like, will you have to increase your intake of water or veggies, or is it just something that you just kind of like really ride the wave? You can't really
it's that, but then they also have different things for vaginal lubrication anyway, where it's just like either lube. People, listen, lube is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing.
You said what's not a bad thing?
Lube.
Oh no, not at all. That should always be next to you when you're having sex.
Listen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Lube it up. But honestly, with menopause, you can use lube. You can use different things. And sometimes with I'm not even going to say menopause. Sometimes with women, they think, oh, I'm not wet enough. No, your partner is not getting you wet enough. Your partner is very just quick to get to it. So then it's just like you leave yourself thinking, oh, I'm not wet enough. It's just like, no.
And you start doubting yourself, and that's another part of losing confidence within your sexual ability. I can't get wet enough. Why not? Your partner has to put in the work. He has to make you aroused. Foreplay, like the best. Like you have foreplay is imperative. Unless you just, first if you was feeling frisky all day, then maybe not. You know what I mean? But if you, I don't know, like in the middle of a work assignment and he coming up and just want to no.
Yeah, it's just like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am not the light switch. You cannot just, it just doesn't. And the thing is, women are very emotionally based creatures. So if we're not feeling no emotion, we don't feel like you're even trying to like, first of all, we might even get turned off where it's just like, so you're not even just going to. You just ain't gonna try to like stimulate me.
Yeah.
And it's like
now you just getting that hair, damn.
Yeah, it's just like
Like
grab the KY.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Grab the KY.
Okay, so finally, in regards to mental health, what are some best practices to empower yourself when it comes to your sexual health?
My first and foremost, like, this is what I tell everybody: build a solid relationship with yourself first.
Beautiful.
The relationship you have with yourself is that solid foundation to kind of gauge of how you're gonna create those relationships with other people, whether it be friendships, relationships with your family, friends, a partner. Get sexy for you. Practice doing that for you first, because if you already have it in your head, like, I'm the baddest.
Yes,
thing
I'm sexy
walking.
for yourself. Yes.
When you have a partner, that energy, you don't even have to say it, and they're just gonna be like,
yes.
have you ever heard of a guy say, like, I don't know, there's just something about her. It's
you have sex
walk.
appeal. You just, and like your walk, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, like you just. What's the term? Someone just said, I've heard it. You ooze sex appeal.
Like, you're just oozing out of your pores.
Yeah, just oozing out of your pores.
So it's just like with mental health, it's just like, what makes me feel sexy? Even as when we all have that one part of our body that we're just like, oh, I can improve it. It's just like, don't focus on that. Focus on, like, I love my almond shaped eyes. I love my melanin skin. Like, even like, I'm not gonna say like just go off in a room and start fingering yourself and getting to know you, but it's just like, observe your body when you're walking by a mirror. Observe your curves. Just like, my hair is natural,
and it's okay to say that I am the shit. And I think that we need to normalize that.
Exactly.
Like first of all, if I don't think I'm the shit, you're not gonna think I'm the shit because you're too busy thinking that you're the shit. But like, you know what I mean? But I feel like we need to do that. We need to do that for ourselves, and it just will definitely build the bricks of confidence, and then people will start to see that, and that determines how they treat you. How you treat yourself determines how people treat you.
I feel like sometimes people just look towards either social media or their partner, like, why don't you tell them I'm pretty, or I don't know, and it's just like, but are you telling yourself?
Beautiful.
But you're expecting it from somebody else, and it's just like the expectation that you have of others, you need to have it for yourself first before you set that bar. So can you reach that standard before you require it from somebody else?
Yo, talk about it. That was good. Give me a high five on that one. That was beautiful. Beautifully said. All right, guys, make sure you guys stay tuned. We're about to get into taboo. It's about to get real. So make sure you guys keep watching. We'll be right back. What's up, guys? Welcome back once again. We are about to get into the taboo section of our conversation. So we're just jumping right on in again. Okay, so we all know that it is a taboo for women to be sexually liberated or just be so free and talk about sex. And if you do, you're looked at as either a stripper, you know, you must be a female rapper, you must be out here in the streets, all of that stuff, right? So what advice would you give to our listeners about breaking the conditioning, right? About a woman being free and being comfortable with talking about her sexuality and not having to have those negative connotations attached to her?
Okay. I know everybody knows who Tyler Perry is, and he plays Medea. It's exactly what Medea said. People are going to talk about you till the day you die.
Sure enough.
Right? So, being comfortable, when you're comfortable with something that's not so common for a woman to be like, yeah, I love dick. And that's why people, that song WAP was such a controversy.
It really was. These women were just talking about sex. And yes, it was very strong, right? The wording, but like y'all act like y'all not at home doing the same thing.
Worse.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, I feel like a lot of people, it wasn't the content that they had a problem with. I think it was the delivery and how they just said it so raw. And I feel like, especially in today's society, I feel like we're so pacified. Like, oh, you have to preserve everybody's feelings and just know you have to keep quiet.
They said that.
No, they said fuck that.
Yeah, they said they were confident. They said it with conviction.
She said, and I felt this in every fiber of my being. I want you to touch that little dangly thing that's swinging the back of my throat. Galatians 3 verse 4.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, wow. Like, if you're a woman and you love sucking dick, what is the problem?
Yeah.
If that's between me and my partner, what is the issue with that? But as soon as you say, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
my God.
She must be fast, or she must be fucking Big Time and Harry.
Yeah.
Or she must be an aspiring rapper, or all these things. You have to be titled or categorized just to be comfortable. Just to be comfortable. And like, why does everything have to be labeled? You oh, you're like this, or you must be in this box.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you think like that, you must be in this box. And it's just like, I'm doing what the human race is. How the hell do we procreate?
Which is another purpose of having these confident conversations, because my thing is this. As a black woman and as black women, it's kind of like, when are we going to stop making ourselves uncomfortable and shrinking ourselves to make everybody else around us who doesn't even protect us in the first place comfortable? It's no longer about a sex thing. No matter what a black woman does, you're in a box, or you didn't do it like this, or well, I would have. No matter what angle we go, we're gonna find somebody who's going to criticize us. So it's just like, sex is just one big way where media takes advantage of it, and they make money off of our bodies, make money off of our images, take our culture, our style, our sexuality, and how sensual a black woman is. But we're not able to own that.
We're not able.
The media
because
can
the moment
own it.
we do, we're hoes, we're tramps, we're bitches, we're everything except goddesses and queens, and
of just owning who she is. Like, wow, like she loves sucking dick, but she only had 2 partners in her whole lifetime because she saw it as something that she loved to do, but for the person that she's with. So how is she a hoe for that? But we have people who don't even talk about sex at all, and they run with your daddy, your uncle, your homeboy, your baby daddy's cousin,
your neighbor.
Exactly. Yes. So it's just like, I just don't feel like society is open to just women, especially black women in general, to just be like, yeah, this is what it is. You can either take it or leave it.
Yeah, so society's like that, right? So a woman that wants to be more free, what advice would you give her? A woman that wants to own it, but she's afraid of the backlash, what would you tell her?
First question is, what are you afraid of? Oh, well, they're going to call me this. Okay, is your bill still going to get paid tomorrow? Are you still going to be living your life? The same people that are talking about you is going to be the same people who are looking at you and like, dang, yeah, that hoe. But I'm going to see how she did that.
I'm still following her.
So it's just
it's such a, oh God,
isn't it amazing?
It's a catch-22. It's just like,
it's a bad catch-22 because it's just like, you live your life freely and people don't like it. And what I want people to understand, my black ladies, the reason why they're not open with you doing it is because that's something that they fear. Where it's just like, I don't know where this is going to lead to or XYZ. And for you to just own it, I see it as, I'm making a path for other women to just be honest with themselves.
It's a strength. So I one time had someone, this is just me, being confident within myself. I made a comment about myself saying how attractive I thought I was. And I literally had a friend tell me and look at me after I said it. She was like, girl, you are right. You need to like tone that down. And I carried that with me for such a long time. Not that I accepted it, the fact that I felt sorry for her because that was how she viewed herself.
Exactly.
I did not take that with me. When she said it to me, so when I say like I carried that with me, it was like it wasn't like a damn, maybe I should tone it down. It was like, I feel sorry for you because what I said, you should say that about yourself. But I feel like we don't have that enough. And the same thing when it comes to sex. And the same thing when it comes to just like, empowering one another and ourselves. Yes, I like to have sex. Yes, I like this, I like that, whatever. Be confident and stop putting other people down because of your own fears, your own, you're just projecting that onto them. That's all that is.
And the thing is, black women already have this thing about them where they love to carry everybody's burden. So now with the same thing with sex, sex is something that's between you and your partner. Whether you just choose to disclose it or whether you're like free about talking about the topic, why are you carrying other people's fear about sex? If they don't want to hear it, they can simply just walk away. Their opinions of you don't matter. If somebody said to you, oh, well, I don't like that shirt you're wearing, are you just going to go return it? It's the same thing with sex. Oh, I can't believe you said that, you're this, you're that. I sure am. I sure am.
And I own it.
And I own it. And my man's happy, I'm happy, and then yet that person's going through a divorce and they can't seem to just be in the same unison with their partner like you are with yours, but they have the most to say. So why carry their burden?
Beautifully said. Oh, I'm loving you right now. Okay, so we've been talking about sex this whole time, right? So, scenario. You in a relationship, you love your man. He's everything. He's a protector. He's a provider. He's emotional. He's vulnerable. He communicates well. He's fantastic, except for laying the pipe. How do we have the conversation? The uncomfortable, but make it comfortable.
That was uncomfortable one.
Conversation that the sex isn't good.
Okay. I think it depends on the couple. Mm-hmm. So let's say if you and your man have a great communication system, I would say it like maybe in a playful way, like, hey babe, you know what I love when you do? I love when you do X, Y, Z. You could forget about doing this does nothing for me. But that thing you do with the tongue in the back, when you just, and the thing is with men, instead of focusing on the wrong, focus on the good.
That's a good.
And then kind of reverse and just be like, oh, I love when you do that. That other thing, doesn't quite do it. But that one thing, you see, like you slip it in a little bit where it's just like.
So you're still, you're not bruising the ego initially. You're complimenting them, right? You're praising them.
You're letting them know, like, this is what you do correctly, and I would appreciate if you did that more. And I just don't like X, Y, Z. Or if you have blunt couples, like myself, where I'm just like, you know that thing you did last night, don't do it again. I don't like that.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta give some raw.
And it's just like
edited, uncut.
Because the thing is, some men, when you give them that raw feedback, it's almost like a lion, where it's just like they love the chase, and it's just like, oh, so you want this a little more? Okay, it's almost like okay, now I got something to do, I gotta work on this.
Well, so that's a good point. That works with confident men. Remember, we talked about this off camera, actually. What secure men?
Yes.
I feel like you'll get that from the secure man.
With the secure.
Yes.
Again.
You'll give him that, right? Oh, she want me to change it up. Okay, I got it. Like it's like almost like a competition for him. Like I want to please you. Instead of the insecure man, and now you gotta be all these other things. You must be having sex with somebody else.
Yeah, and again. Secure men, not insecure. Now, when you deal with an insecure man, all the back trauma and compensation in other ways, it's just going to lead to kind of a mess. So I would suggest more of like a professional help, like a certified sex therapist who can kind of give you more of a guide on how to do that. Because now when you're talking about mental health and trauma and ego, that is a entirely different ballgame. But confident, secure men, they don't listen to your feedback. Some are a little more sensitive than others, but like I said, that compliment and then going back and just saying, hey, just don't do that. But I love when you do this. Or some men where you're just like, man, I love you. I do. Your dick is great, but I would like this position more, or this position doesn't do. I'm more of a clitoral stimulus than a penetration. But in turn, that also comes with knowing your body. Because you can't tell a man what to do when you don't even know what you like.
Yeah, and that's why you said earlier, you got to get in and know what yourself. Get to know yourself. And you actually just brought up the next question. So we're going to get into that, talking about clitoral stimulation versus vaginal penetration. Okay. So we're going to get into that in the final portion of the show. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back. We are winding down, but not before we tackle this last topic. So we know that most women orgasm through clitoral stimulation as opposed to vaginal penetration. Can you explain the science behind that?
There it is. Let me put on my bifocals and my intellectual hat. So the science part of it. So your clitoris, in pretty much simple terms, have 7,000 nerve endings. It's just like if somebody were to scratch you, pinch you, you feel those very deeply more than if you had like a sore muscle. So you kind of got to think of it as the same way. Your clitoris becomes super sensitive because it has 7,000 plus nerve endings, whereas your vaginal walls is a muscle. So now if a man is penetrating you but he's not hitting your Gspot or your A spot, yes, there are two, then
talk about that.
So there are two different spots, and if he's only penetrating you and not hitting those spots, then it's gonna feel good, but it's just, in actuality, it's just kind of like a little dick massage in your vagina. You're not gonna come, but it feels good, as opposed to like now if you're on top of a man and you're riding him and he's penetrating you, but your clitoris is actually rubbing on the top part of his penis, you're gonna come. Yes, penetration will probably enhance it, because now you're talking about muscles and nerves. Then that's when you're gonna have that full orgasmic experience. But some women, they don't come through penetration. It's simply because you're either not hitting their spot, or they just, it feels good, but it's just not enough to get the juices in.
Okay, and so, off camera, I wanted to talk about the Gspot. Now, you just said that there are two spots, Gspot and the A spot. What are those? How do we finagle our way there? Like, what's going on there?
Honestly, I wish I brought my kit. I have a vagina kit, so it's like a vagina, and like a big...
Yeah, girl, why you bring it?
I don't want to come with like a double bag, like, all right, I'm here. I got a circumcised penis and uncircumcised one, so because a lot of women come to me because they're like, I don't know if I'm it's either riding dick well or sucking dick.
Okay.
Let me tell you guys, I'm gonna put the men on Front Street.
Okay.
If you know where to find his frenulum, listen. The frenulum on the penis head is like this little, like, before a man is circumcised, there's like this little skin part that when they circumcise them, a lot of times it's left behind. That little spot right there, if you want a car or your loan's paid, that would be the time to ask for those things.
Wait, so I could give us a visual. So you have so what do you do with it? Like, okay. You need something?
Okay.
Just okay.
Okay. So it's a very big penis head, which is my fist. Right?
Okay.
So when you look at the head, obviously you see like there's like that little
that curves out.
That curve.
We're talking about a circumcised penis.
Circumcised, yes. Uncircumcised, you just kind of gotta like peel it back to find it, which is completely fine. Uncircumcised dick, it's so taboo too.
It is. I had a whole conversation about circumcised and basically how it's not normal. It's not. And it's something that was like from just the Western culture, as we were talking about off camera, it's not something that is supposed to be done. But basically, we're not gonna get into all of that. It was supposed to stop men from masturbating, but because they were so prude and da. But that's not the case at all. But anyway, moving on. Okay.
So that little head part. So it's like in back of the penis or the front, however the guy's view of it is. It literally looks like a little place for like a river, like it could hold water or something. So it's like this little slit spot.
Yeah, I know this.
And it's just like that, like little part right there. There's like the thin piece of skin. So when you're sucking on his dick, wrap your mouth around the head of his dick and just kind of graze either your tongue or your lips around that frenulum, like really softly, and then just go all the way down his penis. You're welcome.
She said you're welcome. I love it. Okay, so back to the G spot and the A spot, right? So how do you stimulate those or work your way to that?
So if you want to find it, very simple. You can take your own fingers, take your man's finger, your girl's finger, whatever finger you want to take, in all appropriation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, girl.
Inappropriate.
Discretion.
Discretion. But when you put your finger in, it's literally like you're doing this motion right here. Come here. Like when you're telling someone to come here, your G spot's up high. Okay. And your A spot is like, gosh, I need my like little visual thing.
Girl, watch, you should have brought it.
It's near the G spot, but I need my visual thing.
Okay. All right. So you can't really. It's okay.
The A spot is a whole different topic.
Yeah, because I'm very foreign to the A spot. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard of it. I've heard about it having more than one. Someone told me like it's like a figure like this or something like that. Is that true? Okay.
So like if you look at vagina from like the inside, it literally, you seen a fidget spinner? It literally looks like almost like a little wishbone.
Okay.
Like behind it, we have, guys, I promise, I will either do an Instagram tutorial or come back on the show because we need to know this.
I think next time you come back, bring your damn model, your vagina model.
And it's fleshy and everything.
Girl,
so
I'm so mad she didn't bring it. But that's good. Yes, we definitely need demonstration. But speaking of Instagram, tell everyone where they can find you, you know, your websites, all that good stuff, where they can get more information.
On Instagram, it's Coco_Kathy, so it's CO_Kathy, KATHI. My business page is Coco Convo, so it's COCONVOS_, and we're actually launching on the 12th with a self-care portion where we're going to be doing like self-care, bath body products. We already have ebooks out, but we're going to be adding more. So the ebooks we have now is like the top foods for your vagina, how to suck dick, how to eat pussy, smoothies that you can eat for your vaginal and for your penile health. And the other ones that we have coming out is about feminine energy. And we're coming out with wapulations.
She loved that word, wapulation. I think you just like saying that.
No, because there should be a whole guide about wapulation.
Yes.
And what it's basically going to be about is just owning your sexual health, your sexual identity, how to keep that wap nice, tight, and juicy, how to just like be in your own zone and create your own version of WAP.
I love it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, guys, we are out of time. This is amazing. It was so great learning all these things from you and just hearing your interpretation. And you're wonderful. You're so knowledgeable. I love it. Thank you guys. So you're very welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, it is Tisha Monet, Kathiana Dulcine, Kathiana Dulcine, and I will catch you later on another episode of Alchemy of Thought. Bye-bye.
Bye. What you smiling?